What's up, you guys?
What's up, you guys? Sam here with a new video today. I'm here to bring you guys my deck profile from the 200th YCS that took place this past weekend in Columbus, Ohio. I ended up only getting 18 points day one. I fell short 1 point of making it to day two. I felt really bad. I lost one of my games in time, and I felt to myself, if that didn't happen, if we drew or whatever, I would have gotten the 19 points and then been able to continue on for day two. It happens. I can't be mad. The event was absolutely amazing. I have a lot of mementos in front of me that I'll show you guys in addition to the deck. To start things off, yes, you guys, I did continue to play the 45 card MEKK-KNIGHT INVOKED deck. I love the deck to death. I didn't feel confident playing any other deck. I didn't want to play Pure Striker. I didn't want to play Goki. I didn't want to play anything but this deck because this is the deck that I have been testing with, having success with, and I wanted to continue to play something that I enjoyed. And I felt that overall, even though it wasn't the best deck, I felt a lot of people were not giving the deck enough credit. They weren't respecting the deck, and I'd be able to capitalize on that, and that happened for the most part. Outside of some pretty iffy hands and I think some card choices that needed to be changed, I actually really enjoyed the deck. But before I get into it, just show you guys all the cool stuff. As you guys can see, we got some broken tokens right here. Me and my brother Johnny, we made a field center. Insane. Yeah, it's crazy. And also squad token. You guys already know it was awesome. They were letting us make field centers at this event as well as tokens. Token booth is always awesome. And then, of course, the entry stuff. So for the entry, you ended up getting the field center and this beautiful mat, the Gold Stark mat. This mat also has all the 200th YCS, and it has all the locations on both sides of it, which I think is really cool. Yeah, I really like it. I think this was awesome. And if you pre-regged with your deck list, you also got this Divine Attribute dice, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. It sparkles, it has Divine on it, 200th YCS on it, and it's like one of a kind in these events. So I think this was just awesome. There's all the stuff you got with the new Chaos Emperor Dragon Field Center. I think it was awesome. I put it in a sleeve just to protect it, but it's a translucent one that you can see through, like the ones they were giving away, I believe, at Yu-Gi-Oh! Day. So yeah, so that was all the stuff you got for entering. It was awesome. But yes, I continued to play this deck, you guys. I made some changes from the deck from San Jose, but I'm going to get into it. I hope you guys will enjoy it. Just be sure to smash that like button. 50 plus likes lets me know you enjoyed the deck profile. And I will talk about some of the cards that I liked and didn't like. Before I get into it, I just want to give two shout outs real quick. Huge shout out to my brother Rob Loa. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been able to build the deck and get as far as I did. We worked on the deck a lot and theorized all the way up to pre-registration, and this was the list we decided on. Him, me, and Johnny all played this list. Johnny made it to day two and unfortunately lost out the very last round, but outside of that, we all played the same deck card for card. I think that the deck in retrospect was fantastic. There's only a couple cards I would change just based on my player preference, but sorry for the long intro, you guys. This was just an amazing event, and I want to profile the deck for you guys now, so we'll get into it. So for the monsters, 3 Alistair. Don't really need to explain that. You guys already know it's an invoked deck. You got to play it. Your main normal summon. Technically your only normal summon, and it's how you get things rolling for the deck. For the Mech Knights, I continue to play 3 purple. There was a moment where I was going to play 2, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't play two copies of what I feel is the best Mech Knight in the deck. 2 copies of blue. I will always feel that this is correct. 1 copy of Indigo Eclipse. I've heard some people don't actually like this card. It's surprising. I know that it doesn't really do anything by itself, but the fact that it can be summoned and then moved means that it's a free Mech Knight. Like, why would you not want a free summon? Not only for a 2400 body, but also for like link summoning. And it's 24/24, so even in defense mode, it's not that bad. So. And the last Mech Knight, I decided to actually play Red Moon this time. I know in San Jose, I cut Red Moon. I put it back this time just because I wanted to have another monster. I wanted to have another, just another kind of like free summon. This is also another free summon. And I needed extra Mech Knights to search off a blue sky because you'd be surprised how often my opponents will carelessly place 2 cards in the same column and give me a free search for 2. So I chose red over yellow. I know a lot of people might disagree, and here was the reason. Rob was actually the reason I played this Mech Knight over yellow. He said that you want to be able to get through monsters. Yes, floodgates are a problem. There's only specific floodgates that hurt this deck. So being able to punch over a monster is really crucial because you can get rid of a monster and then push for more damage. So in the long run, this was the better card choice, and it's 100 points stronger. So believe it or not, all those situations did come up, and I did actually use its effect probably about 3 or 4 times throughout the event. So I'm actually happy I played it. Hand traps remain the same. I played 3 Ash and 3 Ogre, and of course I played 3 Impermanence, but those are what I kept with. In retrospect, I thought about cards like Valor. I even thought about cards like Joel and Lockbird, but overall, these were the right cards. These were the cards you wanted. Unfortunately, playing against Midbreaker Field and Goki, which was one of my losses, is just, it sucks because yes, you can have Ash, but I always had Ogre and Impermanence. It's just unfortunate. Every time I lose to Midbreaker Field, it's like the card that always beats me. I'm thinking that maybe I should play other cards I can play around it. I might start experimenting with other cards, but these hand traps are good across the board. I played a lot of weird decks as well, so these cards were, were fine. They cover the meta, and that's what you need to do in this deck. Plus, you need the attributes. And speaking of the attributes, we decided to play Kaijus. We did not play Sky Striker cards, and that's what I'm going to talk about. So we decided to play Kaijus. Played 1 water, 1 fire, 1 light. Before anyone asks, the reason why we played this one instead of the machine one, this has 2100 defense. The other one has 2600 defense. In certain situations, being able to punch over it if it ever gets switched to defense mode with a MEKK-KNIGHT is a lot easier than having to, commit a Link Summon or something to get over it. So that's the reason we played that. Light for Makaba, fire for Purgatrio. And we played water also because it was the weakest, but also because we do play the water invoked, and I'll talk about that when I get to it. But we decided to play 3 Kaijus. Personally, I didn't really like these. We also played Slumber. Johnny loved them. I honestly did not care for them. I felt that they were kind of clumpy. I really did want to play the Sky Striker cards. We just couldn't decide on a good engine. In retrospect, I would probably play like the 3 Engage, the drones, and then maybe an Afterburner and a Jamming Wave or an Anchor over these cards. I know these cards are good. Like, they're really good against Pure Striker because you turn off a lot of their cards. But I noticed just a lot of times they didn't do what I needed them to do. So for me, unfortunately, these were not that good. I might just have to test them more. But that was it for the end of the monsters. I believe it was 19 monsters. To the spells, the 3-ofs, we played 3 Pot of Desires. You guys already know how much I love this card. I couldn't not play 3 copies of this card. Says draw 2, plus it's, this deck is 45 cards. You're never going to banish everything. One of the changes we made is we played 3 copies of Invocation instead of 2, and we cut Book of the Law. You guys don't know what a struggle it was for me to cut Book of the Law. I argued with Rob constantly online and in person about this. I told him this Book of the Law is how you OTK. He was like, you're going to brick with it more games than none. And eventually I gave in for the fact that he is correct. He is correct in the sense that if you draw Book of the Law, you have no play with it if you don't already have a fusion in play. However, if you draw Invocation and you are able to make Alistair the Mad Invoker, since it reads Alistair the Invoker on the field or in the graveyard, you actually do have a play with Invocation. Plus, playing Desires, you never want to banish multiple copies. So in retrospect, Rob, you were correct, and 3 Invocation was the correct way to play the deck instead of playing Book of the Law. So I will admit that I was wrong. And of course, 3 Mind Control, this card was absolutely busted. This card is insane. I don't know why this card is at 3. I say it every deck profile, but this card was the absolute stones. Just being able to set it, steal a monster, link away, or do whatever was insane. This card is a staple at 3. And again, another great card that was the best card for me in San Jose, but still great at this YCS was 3 Twin Twisters. Pure was everywhere. Being able to hit them was important. I unfortunately didn't play Altergeist. I played mostly Pure, and I played the 1 Goki, but I didn't play like that many back row decks like Draco or anything like that, but I was ready for them, and this was an easy side out against the decks that it wasn't good against, but I really liked it, especially since I'm a going second deck, so I will probably continue to play at least 2 to 3 copies of Twin Twisters. That was it for the 3-ofs, for the 2-ofs, the 2 Meltdowns, and the 2 Terraforming. This is self-explanatory. Terraforming's at 2. We only played 2. Meltdown at 2. We don't see too many. I never wanted to clump on multiple Alistairs because if one gets stopped, you don't get anything for the turn. So that is why I chose those ratios, and with Terraforming only being at 2. So it was actually perfect. Then 2 copies of Called by the Grave. Card is still amazing. I feel you have to main deck it in a deck like this because of all the hand traps. It's also good against Ray. It's also good against Trickstars when they try to choose a target for reincarnation. It has multiple like things you can apply it to in like multiple matchups. So I really like it. I feel it's a staple in this deck. And then the 1 Slumber. Slumber was whatever for me. I activated it, I believe, 2 or 3 times throughout the tournament. One time it went off and it was fine. I punched over something, but the other time it got Ash, so it sucked. Banishing it to search for a Kaiju was cool, but in retrospect, I honestly don't think I would play it again. I just personally didn't like it. I might try to continue to test it, but I really didn't like it. I'm going to practice with the Striker cards again because I really did miss them throughout the event. Engage would have been so good being able to draw extra cards, so I honestly feel that was a mistake, but I can't take it back, but definitely something I'd probably change. And then the last card that I never activated and I sided out every single game was Super Poly. In theory, this card is broken, but it just didn't resolve at all. It never went off, and I probably would put it in the side deck or maybe not even play it again. I think that there was too much hype behind this card, and I feel that it just didn't do enough for me that I wanted it to do. This deck is not like Shadol's where you can do stuff like that. We made the argument that maybe this could be like Book of the Law where you could punch and then super poly everything away on your field for another monster, but it just never came up. I discarded it more for Twin Twister than anything, so I banished it a lot off of Desire. So honestly, this card did nothing for me. So unfortunately, you guys, I can't say anything about it. It's great that it's back, but I honestly have no opinion on this card as of now because I never really resolved it. And then from the traps, I played 3 copies of Impermanence. I feel that this hand trap is still insane. Even with Midbreaker Field, I mean, you have to play this card. I feel that it hits a lot of cards in the format. And when they don't have Midbreaker Field, this card is insane. So that I feel is just a staple in the deck. And then we main deck 3 evenly. This card was the Stones because against Pure, it just blows them out. Leaving them with 1 card and then being able to capitalize on that 1 card is great. Good against Rogue, good against everything. You guys don't even want to know. So I played actually 4 going second decks in 9 rounds. Yeah, I played 2 Cyber Dragons, 1 Lost World Dino, and a, what was it? It was a Lost World Dino, 2 Cyber Dragons. Oh, and going second Spiral. And I literally, outside of my round 1, where it went to game 3, I 2-0'd all the other going second decks. And like these cards were just really bad, but against everything else, they were great. So we decided since we're in a YCS, we needed to have the best options for going second. So that's what we played. So that is it for the main deck. It is 45 cards, you guys. To the extra deck. 2 Macabre, staple. 1 Purgatrio, only 1 because you only need it when you're actually going to just kill them that turn. So 1 was perfect. I got it off a couple times and it was good. We played 1 invoked Coitus, or however you pronounce it, the water one. So the plan with this card was to summon it against Pure because it's really hard for them to out, because if you guys don't know, it says it can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effect, and your opponent cannot target this card with card effects, and it can attack while it's in defense position. So the plan was to make this with our Water Kaiju or with their Shizuku and, you know, sit on it, you know, just being able to, you know, stall out the game and punch out for win. But every time I summoned it, they actually had the out. The out was having enough spells in the grave, or the way my opponent beat me was he made Bomber Dragon, attached the Hornet thing to it, that Hercules base, and punched over it, and I just took a lot of damage. So this card in theory was really good, but it backfired for me the entire tournament. So to be honest, I think it was a mistake to play this card. Maybe I should try to play Kaliga, the dark one, because I heard that in Europe they had success with that card, but this card was kind of average for me, and then it just, unfortunately, it backfired for me in the long run. So I wanted it to be good. And then Elysium, never summoned it. It was supposed to be with like Super Poly or with like the Mirror, and I just never played any. So again, I probably cut both of these cards. They were just not that good for me all day. I'm sad to say, because I love Elysium, but it just didn't do anything for me. Same with Mud Dragon of the Swamp. We played this too because of Super Poly. We originally were going to play Instant Fusion, but the deck was just getting too big and just too many cards. And playing a 1 of Instant Fusion just felt kind of pointless. But going back, like I said, I probably changed this to the Striker cards, and I can make room because some of these card choices were like whatever. But I'm not even joking, I probably end up cutting these 3. So this opens up some slots like Kagari, Hayate, and you definitely should have played Raijin over the Water Invoke. That was definitely a mistake, for sure. Might even play Instant Fusion at that point because it's an Instant Fusion target. That's it for the fusions. For the links, 1 Alistair, card still broken. The fact that you can fuse away with it with Invocation when you don't have other Alistair is insane. People forget that. I got the judge called multiple times, and they just tell him, did you read the card? And yeah, exactly. So this card, crazy. I actually played the MEKK-KNIGHT Morning Star. I summoned it like once, and then made it to go into the big guy. So it was kind of cool. We originally thought we were going to play World Legacy Memory, but I didn't like that card. When I read it again and realized that you couldn't summon anything but MEKK-KNIGHTs, I was like, okay, so this is only good if I summon the MEKK-KNIGHT after I'm done all my pushes. But honestly, I just didn't want to play the deck like that. So I actually don't know if I play this again. I might actually cut it. I wanted the MEKK-KNIGHT links to be good, but they just didn't really do anything for me in the long run. I played 1 Underclock Taker. The plan was with Kaijus, you could just, you know, make them 0 and then punch over stuff because we had the bigger Kaiju. So being able to, you know, have Macabre reduce the Kaiju to 0, punch over it with the 33 guy, Macabre for 25. You guys kind of get where we're going with that, trying to OTK them. So plus Purgatrio is broken. So I'll probably still play this. Shout out to my brother Vexy. He gave me the hollow one. So I'll probably still play this. I just need to test more and, like I said, make some changes to the extra deck because I'll be honest, I think the extra deck was The extra deck was unfortunately incorrect. I'm going to put it to you guys like that. I'll show you guys after like which cards I actually summoned. For the Nightmares, I played Cerebus, Phoenix, and Unicorn. Summoned all of them. These cards are great. Nightmare cards are amazing. Sometimes I want to play extra copies of them because I think Phoenix is broken. I think Unicorn is broken. Cerebus actually came up a couple times because it being a generic Link 2, being able to use it to get rid of a problematic monster was important. So I actually really liked the Nightmare cards all day. Summoned the big guy once. It was alright. Probably wouldn't play it again, but I mean, in theory, it was good, and I mean, it was alright. It just wasn't that broken, though. And then I played Borreload and Boral Sword. So I actually played against 6 Samurais. Let me tell you guys, that deck is scary as all hell. Game 1, he comboed me with the number 86, couldn't do anything. Game 2, I got him. Game 3, he messed up, made a Borreload, and then I made a Borreload to take his Borreload. He didn't know you could do that, so I won the game. And Boral Sword, which in theory is an OTK card, but I never summoned it. I would probably still play it, though, because I feel that the combo would come up, especially once I put the Hornet Drones back in. So these cards are both excellent. I feel you have to play both. I feel omitting one is incorrect because I feel that they both do a lot of things in different situations. So that's it for the extra deck. Again, I would probably cut all of these. This gives me, I know it's kind of crazy, it gives me 5 spots to work with. So I'm going to probably continue to work with this and probably put like a Raijin, maybe Link Spider, Link Rebo, maybe make all those token cards and Kagari and Hayate so that I can Link climb a little more and get more value out of the Sky Striker cards. So that is it for the extra deck, and now just on to the side deck, you guys. I actually really liked my side deck. I was insane actually all day, so we'll get into it. We played the Artifacts, you guys. We played 2 Scythe and 3 Sanctum. This was insane. It was great against Goki. It was actually broken against 6 Samurais because after losing game 1, I went first game 2, and I actually opened Sanctum and Scythe, and he ended up hitting both. So I just was like, cool. And yeah, it was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. He didn't even know what the cards did. Like, it was kind of crazy, but yeah, these were great. These were also for Goki. Being able to stop them from going in an extra deck was crucial. So this was a very good engine. I would definitely play it again. And then one of the all-stars was There Can Only Be One. So people probably caught on to this card. My boy Jarrett played it. So this was basically our version of, I guess, like Rivalry or Gozen. So basically the card reads, each player can only control 1 monster of each type. If a player controls 2 or more monsters of the same type, they must send some to the graveyard so they control no more than 1 monster of that type. So basically we were playing Summon Limit up until we read this card, and this card just proved to be better. So this was our plan against Goki, believe it or not, was to side all this, because this would let us go first, because you need to go first against Goki. It's one of the only decks you need to go first against, and you do that, and you side these in, you draw one of them, hand traps or whatever, before they get to Midbreaker Field, and it was very solid. So we had a very strong strategy against Goki. This is also for Trick Stars. If you have this on the field, they can never Lycris because they can only control 1 fairy, so they can never target the Candina to bounce. So this was actually really good. Then for the back row decks, 3 Red Reboot. Didn't play any, so never slided it in, but needed it because I didn't want to lose to Altergeist. And then when they made me go first, Strike is just solid. I cut 1 copy, but this card was good. Going first with it was just really solid. And then the Spice, the absolute Spice. Shout out to Rob again. 2 Prohibitions, you guys. And I played 2 Cyber Dragon decks. And I'm not joking when I say game 2 after I won game 1, because even though they made me go first, I still was able to play. I literally made a Macabre, activated Prohibition, and I called Cyber Dragon, and believe it or not, that worked. I guess they didn't really know what their deck did because you can play around Prohibition. I didn't know what else to call, but I called Cyber Dragon, and they literally just gave me the handshake because they couldn't play their deck. I don't know what their hand was. I never saw it, but it was broken. This card had a lot of applications. This was really good against hand traps. It was also really good against Widow Anchor because I'll be honest, Striker, the biggest problem for me is playing around Widow Anchors if I don't have Twisters. So this card was really good. A lot of people didn't see this coming. They were shocked I played this. I also used it against Dinosaurs because round 1 I played against Dinosaurs. I lost game 1. He OTK'd me because I just passed. I couldn't do anything going first. He OTK'd me, and then game 2 I had this, and I had my lock with, you know, Macabre and all that, the Mekk-Knights, and then this card just won it for me because being able to call the Ultimate Conductor was crucial to winning the game. So yeah, this card was actually the Spice, and something I'm definitely going to continue to test for the rest of the format. But yeah, that's it, you guys. That is my deck. This is the side. Like I said, there would be a lot of changes. Overall, I was happy with the deck, but I feel like had I made a couple changes and done more testing, I feel I would have done better. Unfortunately, just falling short and going X3, it sucked. Like, it sucked. I'm not going to lie. Like, I was kind of upset. I really wanted to make day 2. I really wanted to continue playing, and I mean, it just didn't happen, but I can't be mad. I really love this MEKK-KNIGHT INVOKED deck, and I'm going to continue to work on it because I just really enjoy the deck, and when you enjoy a deck so much, you should continue to play it. This was just an amazing YCS, though. I have to really give it up to Konami. I absolutely loved every part of it. The fact they gave us a recording area so that Johnny and I could record was great. I just loved every moment of it. Yeah, seeing everyone, seeing M. Cole, seeing everyone that I hadn't seen in a really long time, and just being able to play. I don't think this format is horrible. I think that if you play a deck you like that's actually competitive in the meta, you can continue to play, and this is my deck of choice. And like I said, I'll make changes and I'll keep you guys updated as I continue if I play any other regionals. I don't need to play for my invite anymore, but I would like to get a regional top, so I might actually travel to some random regionals, so check out for that. Slim's always on the move. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. I really enjoyed the YCS 200. I think all the prizes, the entry stuff they gave us was awesome. I think getting the Divine Dice was awesome. You know, field center, and then of course the mementos with the homies will always, you know, always have a special place in my heart. So I really enjoyed the YCS 200. I'd like to know if you guys went, what your experience was like. Did you enjoy it? Did you, how'd you do? How'd you place? And what did you think of this deck? Any changes, any suggestions are always welcome. Just be sure to smash that like button, and I will continue to keep working on this deck with you guys because I love it. So yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up, and thank you for watching.